Join me in welcoming Springfield's own and Illinois Senior Senator Dick Durbin.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much. Wow, what a turnout. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me tell you what an honor it is to be here at the largest gathering in the history of this event. 1,800. Doug House, thank you, and all the organizers for putting it together. I'm honored to be here particularly with a wonderful woman who 15 years ago had an idea in mind to create an organization to train and encourage Democratic women to run for public office. The organization is known as I Will, and for 15 years, Loretta Durbin has produced a dozen activists and candidates every single year and continues to. I could go through the list of all those who've been elected, who've been part of the I Will process, but better than that, let me introduce the founder of that organization, my girlfriend, Loretta Durbin. Woo! Lauren Bethgash, where are you? What you have done with the 10th District Dems is nothing short of spectacular. You know, a lot of people who went through your personal political experience might have decided to open a boutique gift shop or something. Instead, you opened up the best darned grassroots organization in our state, and you poured your heart and soul into it. Congratulations on your award today. You richly deserve it. And let me say this. There are a lot of politicians in this room, we're all politicians really, who've had good fortune, but I've had the best, the very best. For every single moment that I have been United States Senator, I've had by my side Bill Houlihan. This is the most caring, competent, hardworking person I have ever known. Each of us in this room has been touched by his devotion to this party and his caring for so many of us, rich and poor, well-known and obscure. And I just want to say, Bill, thanks for 20 years of great service and many more. To organized labor, Mike Kerrigan and John Penn and all that have gathered here, we wouldn't be here without you. I wouldn't be standing here. This party wouldn't be functioning without organized labor. John, thank you. I saw Mike over here. Thank you for what you do. And thank you doubly for sending me the greatest colleague I could have in the United States Senate, Tammy Duckworth. What an amazing woman she is, and an amazing person. Before I say a word about our speaker, let me say a word to our Republican friends. And we do have friends who are Republicans. They are from the party of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln made a speech and said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." I'm calling on my friends in the Republican Party in Illinois and across this nation to heal the divide and join with the Democrats in condemning what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia last weekend. That rises above politics. If our president can't see the difference, we certainly can in this land of Lincoln. There is no way to compromise. There is no middle ground when it comes to hatred and bigotry. We have got to stand together to condemn hatred against African Americans, against Muslim Americans, against anyone among us who is part of this great American experiment. Let me also say that we need to have unity in our state when it comes to moving forward. I'm going to throw a bouquet here to some Republicans. You don't expect that at a Democratic brunch. But to those 10 who broke with Governor Rauner and voted to pass a budget in the House of Representatives, thank you. Thank you for standing up for our state. For those who are going to break with this governor when it comes to opening our schools, It is time to do that. We need your help to make this a bipartisan effort. And the last part I will say is this. It is beneath the dignity of the office of Governor of Illinois to divide this state. I am a proud downstater. My family roots start in southern Illinois with my dad out of Hamilton County. I grew up in St. Clair County. Loretta and I raised our kids in Sangamon County. We're proud to be downstaters, but I am equally proud to represent the great city of Chicago. It is a great city and part of our great state. Their challenges are our challenges are theirs. We are in this together. And so when I thought about bringing together a speaker, Doug and others talked to me for this brunch, I thought about my colleagues in the Senate. Some of them have been here before, but I thought, who would be the right person for this moment in our state's history and our nation's history? And I thought about a person that I have served with now for 10 years. She is an incredible story. They say in the United States Senate that when you arrive there and look around, you think, how did I ever get here? But after a few months, when you get to know your colleagues, you say, how did they ever get here? Well, Amy Klobuchar got to the United States Senate the old-fashioned way. One pancake breakfast, lawn sign, and parade at a time. It paid off. She won her first election to the United States Senate by the largest margin of victory in a Minnesota Senate race since 1978, only to break her own record in 2012, winning by nearly 35 points. She and I go back a long ways, 10 years of service together. She was, in 2006, the first woman elected to the United States Senate from Minnesota. She understands that real power comes from crossing partisan lines, and you have to do that in the Senate, but sticking together when it comes to matters of principle. And when Amy led a group of 20 bipartisan female senators to demand a hearing on a sex trafficking bill, they got it and it passed. That's real leadership. Amy brings passion and integrity to the Senate every day. I could give you the long list of things that she's done, but I want to tell you one thing that comes to mind. I've had the great honor of representing you in the Senate for 2 decades, and I've served with some wonderful people. One of them has a special place in my memory. His name was Paul Wellstone. Paul Wellstone, in 2002, was called on to cast a critical, historic vote on whether the United States should invade Iraq. 23 of us voted no on that decision to move forward with the invasion of Iraq. I stayed on the Senate floor after the vote. Kent Conrad from North Dakota was there, Paul Wellstone, and myself. We were headed back to face re-election campaigns. And I walked up to Paul Wellstone in the early hours of the morning after that critical vote, and I said, Paul, I hope this doesn't cost you the election. And he said to me, it's okay if it does. This is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I'm willing to stand for, and the people of Minnesota expect nothing less. He went back, 2 weeks later, died in a plane crash. I never saw him again. But I think of that moment on the floor, for those of you who have been in politics, where you make these decisions and make these votes, and you have controversial things that you have to stand up for. I think of these moments, and I think of Paul Wellstone. And I think about the dedication to progressive values, the dedication to representing the people who honored you with this office. And I think about the courage it takes to be a leader. That's what we have in our speaker this morning. Give a great Illinois welcome to Senator Amy Klobuchar of the state of Minnesota.